Janine is always the one who presses go. Thank you, Janine. Hello.
Hi.
Yes. I am going to start this live stream in the same way. I start every stream we do of everything, which is by saying I'm very excited.
I'm sure you are.
Why am I very excited?
The return of Terry Silver.
Yes.
Yes, because I get to say I hate Terry Silver over and over and over again. Hello, Michael, in the chat.
Hello, Michael.
Do you actually want season 5 to start so quickly? I don't.
I do. I mean,
They've already filmed it.
Sure.
The great part
Have
about
they?
the show is it always leaves you wanting more. You get your kind of character arcs, your big character moments. They really let you sit in where each character is at this point. And then it throws something crazy at you at the end, still leaving you kind of really excited for the next season. So it did it again for me.
It did. The structure of
Mary.
the show. Hello, Marie Zambino. The structure of the show, even episode to episode, but certainly season to season, is so manipulative. You've got to applaud it.
Yeah.
It is really, really effective, cliffhanger, dramatic, kind of personal writing that I really do. I appreciate it. I mean, I hate it. I hate it to the core of my being, that kind of horribleness. Why leave someone so deeply wanting something they can't have for potentially 2 years, you evil, evil creator? But it's very effective because it makes you want to watch the others, and they keep doing better and better, don't they?
Yeah, and you wonder if they're going to run out of things to to talk about and characters to bring back up and tiebacks from the last movies and callbacks and things. You think they're going to run out at a certain point, like you think they've run that well dry, and then they come back with more great things that call back to the movies and really great character moments. And like it could play really like bad and lazy that like these characters have like 20 arcs every season and they're just flip-flopping their personalities back and forth, but somehow they make it work. Like it still makes sense, and you still really want to see where these characters are going to go, and you're not getting like tired of them bouncing these characters through all these different emotional states. It somehow works for me.
It does. If it wasn't clear, we are, of course, talking Cobra Kai Season 4 today in full spoileriness. So, if you haven't watched it all, beware, because this will not be going episode by episode. This will basically be going group of people by group of people and how we feel they did.
Yes.
Or what we feel about them over the course of Cobra Kai Season 4, because that's what we're talking about. Nolan, do you like the structure of the manipulation of Cobra Kai?
I want it to manipulate me so bad. And in fact, with recent events going on in the movie universe as it is today, what I want to see in the next season is for a portal to open and Jackie Chan and Jaden Smith to step through as the alternate universe Miyagi does.
Oh,
well, I mean, Will Smith does produce the show. He's on there as an executive producer, so his name is always in those credits. So.
Don't get people excited about that. People will think it's
the Cobra Kai multiverse
going to happen.
Because I am convinced of one thing from this season, is that Anthony LaRusso is not Daniel LaRusso's son, and he must come from a different universe.
We will get there. Do
you want to start there? I almost want to start there.
Okay, well then let's do it. We're
going group of characters by group of characters, as I said, but I have created a category specifically for Anthony LaRusso and have called it perhaps something surprising, given the fact that this series also has Terry Silver in Go Away, Terry. Let's talk about Anthony LaRusso, shall we? Biggest, most hateable person in season 4.
Would you
I
agree with
hate
that take,
Anthony
Nolan?
LaRusso.
Anthony LaRusso is a little bitch.
Thank you very much.
And I wanted to see that new kid kick his ass so fucking hard that Anthony LaRusso would lose his memory and then have to regain it in season 5.
Applause.
Therefore,
applause.
Daniel LaRusso would make him a better son by giving him false memories.
Yes.
And like I think they tried to do a thing with him that they do with other kind of, bullies turned good guys characters where, when you see his group of friends picking on somebody, there's that hesitation to, take that blow. But he's still like, he would ruin those moments within the next episode, just doubling down on the bullying. So like they try to give you these glimmers of him maybe not wanting to do those bad things or being peer pressured by his bully group. But then you would see him kind of make these decisions on his own, like lying to Daniel about a Cobra Kai kid who's bullying him and all of these things that just made you despise him. So I was like getting excited when they were giving moments of, okay, maybe he is going to turn it around. Maybe he is going to be the bigger person in these situations. And then he would just do some shitty thing right after that. So yeah, it was pretty disappointing to see Anthony.
The biggest, most hateable person in season 4. I want to know what the good people in the chat also think about Anthony LaRusso, because quite frankly, I forgot he existed.
I know he was just not there for like a whole season, really, and then he kind of popped back up, and I'm like, who's that? Oh yeah, the little brother. So yeah, I mean, I will give him this teeniest, babyest amount of credit at the end that, like, while most bullies take, seasons to reach that, like Hawk, like it took him forever to kind of make that turnaround to be a good guy, whereas Anthony was making those steps by the end of the season to apologize to Kenny and try to make it right. So I will give him the teeniest amount that it didn't take him as long as it takes most bullies in this show to take the steps for that turnaround. But Kenny rightfully was not accepting of that apology. So, I don't, throw any hate Kenny's way for how he reacted to that apology after what he had been through. But I will give him just, I'll give Anthony like just teeniest bit of credit for at least trying to make amends by the end.
I will not give him any credit whatsoever because, as I said, I swear, like, the show just forgot about him. Maybe the actor didn't renew his contract for a season or something, and I have to wonder if it's even the same actor playing him.
It is.
So I went back and I looked at the old seasons of Cobra Kai, and I tried to compare them as a before and after. With this kid, they look completely different. Like, I'm convinced it's a different kid.
Puberty's a hell of a thing, no?
Yes, which is, I think, what they say in the show. But I think it is him. I think he just, had that growth spurt and that puberty moment. And
that's probably why he wasn't in that season, because his voice was going all funny. And they had to transition. They had to wait until it was fine again.
Yeah.
For him to competently speak, even though he's absolutely detestable. And it makes it worse being the fact that he's like 12, 13 years old, because as we all know, 12 and 13-year-olds are the worst people on the planet.
Yeah.
Regardless of who they are or what they are, we all were 12 and 13 at one point, and that was our worst age of being a human being. All of us. That's
how insufferable were you as a 12-year-old, Morgan?
Deeply insufferable.
But
and
I
then
do
I grew out of it by the age of 14, because that's what everybody does.
And that's when you made your descent into being an old man.
Yes.
Janine, I'm sure you are a lovely I'm sure you were a lovely tween.
I was a bit wannabe angsty, yeah,
See,
trying to
there you
be,
go.
yeah,
Everybody's
trying
terrible
to be
at age.
cool, cussing and thinking I was like, hardcore when I really was not at all. So yeah.
Yes, you sound like Anthony Russo.
I was not bullying people. Okay, I did not have a bully friend group who bullied
Poor
the
Kenny.
guy. Yes, the way they treat Kenny is pretty terrible. And I do love the show kind of subverting those expectations. Like they've done it several times. Like the whole show came to pass because of like a switch on kind of like an expectation. Johnny was always the bully, and then this show came out of the idea of Johnny not being the bully, that Daniel, our hero, was actually the bully. And so I love that throughout the show they do that a lot. When we first see those flashbacks of young Kreese, we think he's the bully in the Letterman jacket, but really he's the waiter who's getting bullied and picked on. And so we get kind of moments like that peppered throughout this whole show. So when we get this now, our hero Daniel, his son is now the bully. That was kind of like a really interesting surprise kind of twist situation that I love that this show does all the time.
They are very good at it. They are
Yes.
very good at it. And it isn't, frankly, just Anthony LaRusso as the LaRusso child who is kind of terrible, because I'm not a big lover of Sam LaRusso either, to be perfectly honest with you. I think she's kind of terrible.
The way they kind of flip her back and forth is really kind of like, I get where she comes from in certain aspects, and I really liked her from, I think what they set up with her from the start has me still kind of on her side by the end of everything. But she has some moments here where she is just not being the Sam that we kind of respect and see as, really taking in the lessons that Daniel has taught her, to be the bigger person in these kinds of situations. The way that, yes, Tori has done some terrible things to her, but in situations where Tori is not even kind of like trying to come for her, she's just still coming for Tori, on just this, gut check instinct. So, I didn't like those moments where she was just very vengeful when Tori was kind of leaving her alone and she was just kind of coming for Tori. I did not like those moments from Sam.
Nolan, by that display you just put on there, would it be fair to say that you enjoy people going in on Tori?
No, I enjoy that people are finally seeing Tori for what she is, where she's a working class girl who is being overshunned by a privileged rich girl, and people finally seeing Sam for the privileged rich girl that she is.
It's a very fair point.
Yes.
It's kind of exactly Sam LaRusso's deal. She's very selfish and very bratty.
She is. And she does expect to get everything she wants. So I like that, we had Robbie calling her out on that and Tori calling her out on that. But I also do kind of stick to the line that Sam said at the end of, or at the start of season 3, where, even though you've had bad things happen to you, that doesn't give you the right to be a bully or to treat people like shit. Because like Tori is kind of just outright that way when no one's really done anything to her, because she's just mad at the world for all of her problems, which, yeah, she's going through things and it makes her a very complicated person, but that doesn't give her the right to kind of treat people how she had been treating them because of what she's going through. So I will stick to Sam with that line that she said, that doesn't give her the right to treat people the way she does, despite what she's going through. But yes, I do like that people were kind of, making Sam a little messy too, and not like the perfect person, and people really calling her out for her privilege. So I did like that we got to see that side and they weren't playing Sam as like this perfect person.
I agree with that. I think this is a good time to transition out of our category of the biggest, most hateable person in season 4, Anthony LaRusso, and the fact that we all applauded vigorously when Kenny smacked him in the face in the final episode during the All Valley tournament. Or at least I did. Because everybody was like, Kenny, no, don't punch him, come away. And I was like, no, let him at him.
I rewinded that scene 5 times.
Oh, I love it. Anyway, let's move on, as we are talking about Tori and other such people, to talking about the rest of the Cobra Kai horrible people.
This includes Stingray now?
Tori. This includes Tori. This
Yes.
includes
Kenny.
Robbie, who Kenny, I suppose, but Kenny isn't one of the horrible people.
Okay,
he's
well-
a little bit aggressive by the end. Robbie, who actually, in fairness to Robbie, I've always been really irritated by Robbie, and I think
Yeah,
it's had
same.
something to do with his hairstyle. In
And he
this
cut his
season, at
hair,
least, he got a reasonable hairstyle, so I kind of liked him.
Yeah.
And he was a little bit more chilled out about everything. I appreciate that. We also have another biggest, most hateable character in the whole show, which is, I forget his first name, but Kreese always calls him Mr. Park. It's the tall Asian dude.
Yes.
Who's just despicable. And then the big guys themselves, Kreese and we have Mr. Silver's got his own category, obviously, but Kreese can fall in, I think, to the Cobra Kai horrible people.
Is that category called Death to Ponytails?
No, I forget what it's called. I think it's just called I Hate Terry Silver, actually. Yeah. That's a sneak preview.
Kyler.
Oh.
Yes.
He's still horrible. He's still absolutely the worst.
Yes.
Here's one way, Janine, in which Cobra Kai, the show, doesn't subvert what we always knew. It did do for the first few seasons, but now it has fully embraced Cobra Kai as deep evil.
Well, yes. Well, now that Kreese has
it
fully taken it over.
was.
Well, because it was kind of, dancing on that line with Johnny in charge, because Johnny was kind of somebody in himself who was kind of trying to subvert that expectation and not be that bully anymore, and really kind of adhering to the more positive sides of Cobra Kai. So when Johnny was running it, you definitely saw those glimmers of kind of, Cobra Kai's not really the villain, but as soon as Kreese kind of, kicked him out and took over, then we were back to the same old Cobra Kai that we always knew. So definitely that was, the big kicking off point for them being full-fledged villains again.
Yes.
I did kind of like that Robbie didn't really pick a side. He was just like, you guys are both fucking idiots.
Yes,
there's three. It's a triangle. It's a triangle of sides to pick from now.
Well, now, yeah, because they built up this whole, Daniel and Johnny are going to come together and really. So that's what really bummed me out. They just couldn't bring Eagle Fang and Miyagi-Do together and really use the offense and defensive sides of their fighting and all become amazing fighters. That the fact that that's what we thought we were going to get. And then they just couldn't make it work until the very end, and only certain people really kind of latched onto that concept of bringing them together by the end. Was a bit frustrating because I was really excited to see that. And even when Daniel was teaching Johnny, it looked like they were both kind of really excited and into each other's styles, but nothing really came out of that. They still were fighting and stuff, so that kind of annoyed me.
You know why that didn't work, though? It didn't work because Daniel LaRusso, much like his own daughter, can't see anybody else's way apart from his own.
And Miyagi's because, he's just trying to honor him, which we can get there. But I think Robbie, Robbie did kind of delve a little bit into the Cobra Kai darkness a little bit, but he was still kind of using both sides of things to ultimately just kind of find his own way and kind of, screw people over who he felt had hurt him. He felt like this was the best way to kind of punish everybody who was trying to use him, to kind of be the best he could be by kind of using everything he learned from everybody. So he was kind of using everything he learned in the wrong way until kind of the end when he realizes what it's doing to him. And nobody's really winning when he's doing that. So yeah, Robbie is kind of definitely running the line there of his motives being in Cobra Kai and teaching them Miyagi-Do, which I thought was a really kind of sneaky thing that I was really worried to see how that was going to affect things when we got to the tournament.
He's the most integrated character in all in the whole trifecta, isn't he?
Yes.
Robbie. He's got a thing in everything.
Which
I do
little
hope
bastard
he's
is he
talking
referring
about-
to?
Yes. Are you talking about Robbie or are you talking about Anthony, Michael?
I do hope you're talking about Anthony LaRusso. I really do. Yeah, like I said, I appreciated Robbie this season. Actually, I thought he's irritated me in the past because he's been too shouty and too kind of rash.
Yeah.
Too
He-
hot-headed, as it were. But he's very calm now. He's
Yeah,
very
like
determined. He's
Mhm.
focused.
And even the fact that he tries to take Kenny under his wing and he wants to kind of teach him. I think that's
Yeah.
a huge positive turn for him, even though he's doing it under the umbrella of Cobra Kai.
And look, I mean, he gets pretty emotional with Robbie at the very, very end of the season when he actually at least has some sort of meaningful coming together with Johnny.
Yeah, he
And-
realizes that the reasons he was doing things were for the wrong reasons. Even Daniel kind of gives him a bit of advice that, like, right before he's about to fight, that really kind of sinks in, I think.
Yeah.
So yeah, I
He's
definitely think
maturing as a human being, and this is good. We have other characters to hate on now. It's very easy to be irritated by. He's grown from that now, and I appreciate that. That's a good. While I do feel like he's definitely one of the characters that's had 28 different character arcs over the course of 4 seasons.
Yeah.
He's ultimately had one major one, which is obviously going from, like I said, rash hothead to calm, self-assured, focused person that he is now.
And I think that's where Kenny's behavior is kind of scaring him because he's seeing that Kenny, while justified, I think, in wanting to take things out on Anthony for how he's treated him. He's doing it in such an intense, kind of scary way, like Robbie was, just kind of lashing out and being really rash. And I think, when Robbie was teaching Kenny, he was trying to do it in, a Daniel kind of very calming way, and have that kind of really strong relationship and really understanding the importance of fighting the right way. And I think Robbie thought that that's what he was doing with Kenny, but seeing how quick he was to kind of lash out and be kind of violent and relish in hurting people is kind of what scared Robbie into kind of seeing what he was doing was maybe going a little too far.
What do we think about Robbie Nolan?
I like the way he's come now. He's sort of what he's done is he's become kind of the Jason Todd of this show. And for anyone who's not read Batman comics, it's like he starts out sort of on the good side, goes through the bad side, and now he's embraced like a sort of, I want to say, anti-hero kind of side. And I have a prediction for this. I feel like I think the show might end with Robbie taking over Cobra Kai.
Yeah.
I don't hate that idea.
No.
Actually.
Because I think he would be running it in the aspect of how Johnny was, I think.
Yeah.
Or maybe Johnny and him run it together.
Yeah.
That might be a little bit too sentimental, I think, for a show that's, I suppose, while it's nostalgic, it's not sentimental. It kicks sentimentality in the face a lot of the time.
Well, I think Johnny does. Johnny does. But I mean,
think the show does, though. The show, as soon as it looks like it's going to give you something nice and happy and everyone's together, within 10 minutes, it's thrown right back in your face every single time.
But I mean, if you're ending the show and you see how the movies end with these kinds of, triumphant, happy kinds of moments, I think the show, if the show ends, it's going to try to end like like the movie, like one of the movies, you know?
Okay.
A freeze frame and an 80s song playing in the background.
Yes. But
Glory of
see,
love, most
that's going
preferably.
to play into wherever Johnny and Miguel's relationship is, because there's always been that kind of competitiveness with Johnny's attention between Robbie and Miguel. So
We
yeah,
shall get onto that when
we will.
discussing Eagle Fang
We will.
group of
Which is a stupid name for a karate dojo.
But it's so Johnny Lawrence. It is so Johnny Lawrence. So they're all like, isn't Dimitri kind of like explaining to him like eagles don't have fangs? Like, what are you talking about? Like, and like giving him the scientific term of like how animals work, and Johnny just doesn't care because it sounds cool.
It feels like one of those, you know, when you look on like a rap name generator.
Yeah.
How many rap name generators have you been on? No,
I
too many.
I assign them to all of my family members. It's great.
Brilliant. I love that. Who else is in Cobra Kai that is worth actually talking about? Because I suppose we've mentioned Tori now, and Tori had a great story, to be fair to her.
Yeah, I mean, we got to get more of her background. Her aunt, you know, her support system of her family are just kind of, you know, really out to get her as well, and just want, you know, her mother's insurance money when she dies, and she's kind of left to take care of, you know, her little brother, and, you know, the aunt threatening to like take him away, and all of these things that she's kind of dealing with. And we actually get Amanda LaRusso kind of stepping up and really kind of taking an interest in Tori. You know, at first it comes out of a concern for Sam, but then when she kind of learns more about her situation, we get a reveal too that Amanda like did not have such a clean cut background herself. So she definitely sympathizes with Tori and wants to help her. So yeah, that's something that frustrated with me with Sam, that Sam couldn't really, you know, understand. While yes, you know, going through terrible things doesn't give you the right to be a bully, you know, you also got to kind of sympathize with people a little bit. And the fact that your mother is, you know, going to that a level to kind of figure out what's going on with Tori should kind of wake you up a little bit to see, well, maybe I should do the same. Maybe, you know, there is something here that, you know, this girl needs, you know, more understanding than I'm willing to give at the moment. So yeah, I did like that kind of we threw Amanda in there to kind of really have that kind of open up a relationship with Tori, and that helped us get to know more about Amanda and Tori.
It's quite interesting, really, how this season, I think, managed to make the students of Cobra Kai the most, I want to say understandable, but kind of the most non-evil that they've been, I think, in the show. Because even when Johnny was teaching, like the students themselves were pretty violent. Like Hawk had his stage of being really nasty towards everybody.
Yeah.
And just smacking everybody. And yes, you still have Kyler Park and all that business. But the major ones who are actually fighting for Cobra Kai in this series, who have stories in this season, are Tori, Robbie, and Kenny, who are all in this season at least understandable in their actions.
Yeah.
Which is really weird to me, how the students are like that, yet the teachers have never been more evil in the history of evilness of Cobra.
Well, I mean, we did get some very slight glimmers of Kreese, you know, still feeling some emotional, you know, father-son feelings towards Johnny. And that's what, you know, has your favorite guy, you know, formulating his plan, because he does see, and even with Tori, you know, he kind of defends Tori against Amanda's kind of, you know, personal attacks on her. And he, you know, when they're at the tournament and, you know, Terry's telling her to, you know, take the low blow, Kreese is like, has her back and says, no, do whatever you think is right, follow your instinct, do what you want. So, we see these glimmers of Kreese this season actually kind of caring about these kids, and that he never stopped caring about Johnny. So, that was
Very
really kind of an
unusual.
interesting, unusual, weird thing to see this season too.
He's becoming like your grandpa now, I think. Like your sort of tough
Grandpa
grandpa who
Kreese.
occasionally says something sweet.
Grandpa Kreese sounds like the most problem relative. I don't want Kreese as a relative, Nolan. I don't know about you. I really don't.
Well,
As much.
I like
Sorry,
how he kind of acts like a surrogate dad to Tori as well.
Yeah.
Like he did that in last season too, when he puts his cigar cutter around that creep's finger.
Oh yeah, the like apartment manager who's hassling her.
Yeah, so I get the feeling that he always saw Tori kind of like as a surrogate daughter.
Mm-hmm.
Or granddaughter, given his age.
Great granddaughter.
Oh
how old is Kreese supposed to be? He's
Leave
be
Martin Cove alone.
Martin Cove, I think, is in like his late 60s, early 70s.
You forget how old everybody's supposed to be. And I suppose they are. You forget Ralph Macchio's like 60, isn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah, that
Yeah,
Miyagi-Do is just giving him the youth regeneration look.
Yeah, Martin Cove was born in 46, so.
Yeah, so he's 75. Michael, you're tough old grandpa who has definitely killed people. Yeah, exactly. And that's Kreese. Kreese has killed people 110%.
Yes.
And I do like. I've always enjoyed Kreese as a character right from the first time I watched the first Karate Kid.
Yeah.
I hated Kreese in that. I hated Kreese in part 3 when he came back and the start of 2 and all throughout Cobra Kai, but I can't help enjoying when he's on screen. Which cannot the same be said for Mr. Silver.
All right, you've waited
And
all
I would
this
like
live stream
to transfer the category.
Okay.
To the category of I hate Terry Silver.
You had that sign in the back for all of these discussions.
Go away, Terry is my new sign for Terry Silver. If you
because he is here to stay.
He is here to stay. I hoped I would only have to contend with Terry Silver for one season, but no, it seems like he'll be here at least for another entire season, if not probably the rest of the damn show, unless it goes on stupidly long, which I really, really hope it doesn't do. We'll get on to talking about the future later on.
Okay, so
Terry Silver. Yes. I am definitely up for just ranting for like 15 minutes if you don't stop me. So please put some sort of
So when he had his hesitations to first come back, did you think that he was going to get to Karate Kid 3, crazy, coke, high, Terry Silver? Did you think he was going to get to that level after seeing kind of how hesitant he even was to come back to Cobra Kai at the start?
No, and in those early episodes, I at least appreciated the fact that he said how absolutely off his face he was in part 3, because he clearly was. I'm fairly certain, what's his name? Thomas Ian Griffith?
He was the Jared Leto of the Karate Kid universe.
Yeah, I'm fairly certain he as an actor was off his face during the filming of Karate Kid Part 3. Because he would have had to be that ridiculous that he is in that movie. I appreciated the change in the first couple of episodes of Terry Silver's character and how he's all very fancy and he likes wandering around in his dressing gown, playing his piano, having fancy parties with his nice wife.
Girlfriend.
Sure, girlfriend. You know what I mean?
I don't know what it was they were serving at that party, but
the
was
tofu skewers.
I was secretly hoping that John Kreese was just going to let loose on that one guy at the party.
With the glasses.
So was I, to be
Kai,
honest.
that is so cute. That's adorable.
I really did kind of want Kreese to just smack him in the face. This is the problem with this show. It makes you feel like you just want to smack people in the face sometimes. It's fine. It promotes violence. Justin Square, you are an hour. You're not an hour late. You're half an hour late to the discussion. We are on I Hate Terry Silver as a category.
No, Morgan hasn't just been
you
saying
came
I
in
hate
right
Terry
on
Silver for
time.
half
We
an
just
hour.
started talking about I Hate Terry Silver, so you're right on the money there. Justin.
Now, after the first 2 episodes, and he gets persuaded by Kreese to return, let's bring Cobra Kai back. We're the only people that can do it. Okay. And they show off the stupid ponytail. Oh, it's such a big... Why is it such a big...
They build it up so nice. It's a moment. He's looking in the mirror. He takes a pause. He opens the drawer. He gets that hair tie out. He puts the ponytail back, and he's back in action. Yeah.
His face is so deeply annoying.
It was like the reveal of Luke Skywalker at the end of Force Awakens, but with Terry Silver's ponytail.
Yes, it was that bad.
It's like someone handing him the hair. An epic like pan around.
Every single time he came on screen during this season, this is a show that I watch audibly. I think doing some of the watch-alongs that we've done in the kind of, in the past year or so, Janine, 18 months that we've started doing watch-alongs. I know we don't necessarily do as many as we once did at the moment, but who's to say they won't return regularly? Who knows? Has made me watch movies, watch TV more audibly than I ever did, in the sense that I react out loud to stuff. And every single goddamn time Terry Silver came on screen, I said something along the lines of, "Get out, Terry Silver. Shut up, Terry Silver. Go away, Terry Silver." Or, "Look at Terry Silver and his stupid face." Something along the lines of that. I said every single time. I just felt myself do it. I had to do it. I don't know where Janine's gone with the camera.
Yeah, she's going to turn it on and Terry Silver's picture is just going to come up.
If Janine comes back with a picture of Terry Silver, I'm going to be furious. I am going to be furious. Justin Square, I appreciate this. I appreciate this comment deeply, because thank you for not coming back with a picture of Terry Silver, Janine.
I was looking for it. Couldn't find it. My framed picture.
But it just gets worse. It gets worse and worse as the series goes on, as the season goes on. Stop skulking. Terry Silver, he does skulk. He skulks and he struts. And
I hope they make a Funko Pop of Terry Silver, because that's what I'm getting you for your birthday.
No, I will throw it. I will. I won't even throw it. I will drop kick the Funko Pop over the back fence.
You're gonna use Cobra Kai moves on your Funko Pop of Terry Silver?
I will take the Funko Pop, as I will take this Funko Pop of Ebenezer Batman. And I will drop the Funko Pop of Terry Silver, and I will smack it over the fence.
Well, I mean, I wasn't sure where the character was going either, because like he comes back and like Kreese is like, "Oh yeah, strike first, and we can't let them get away with this," when they're kind of doing their out of competition fighting. And Terry's like kind of being a voice of reason and telling them, don't focus on vendettas, leave it for the tournament, use that, channel it into your fighting and trying to actually like teach them things. So I'm like, where is this going? This can't be. They have this insane man coming back. Like they can't not let him, have that moment of being crazy. Why is he being so rational right now? Like it's throwing me off. So it was definitely very weird.
I hate Terry Silver so much that I also hated that. I also hated the fact that he wasn't actually being normal Terry Silver.
Wow.
Because everything Terry Silver will do, I will just hate because that's just natural for me.
So that was his end game, his, just playing it kind of calm and cool and having Kreese feel like he was holding, the reins and still in charge.
Build it up.
So yeah.
Build it up and become more and more wacko Terry Silver. Let's sit in our stupid hot tub smoking the massive cigar.
It was the cocaine.
I think that's a
someone has to take the
doing.
cocaine, Justin Square, and Terry Silver took it.
I reckon what he was doing there was he's trying to essentially make John Kreese look like the more violent one to the students.
Yeah,
so when the thing happens at the end, they're on his side, and
they would believe that they all saw him kind of threaten Stingray. So like, all very believable.
I've not even put a category for Stingray, but
I'll give you a category name for Stingray. Stingray, turn your damn music down. You are 30 years old. Stop hanging out with minors, you creepy fuck.
Stingray kind of annoys me as well, and he always has.
Stingray.
And look, I know that Paul Walter Hauser is a schmodown relative,
yes,
and he's very nice and all this business. And I'm sure he plays the character of Stingray this way on purpose. Stingray deeply annoys me as well. Just because I agree with Nolan. What's he doing? What is he doing?
Sneaking into the prom and telling them, hey, I got a good hangout spot for you guys after the prom. Like, what?
What's he doing? What is he doing with himself? This is not about Stingray. This is about Terry Silver. Although Stingray does come into Terry Silver's story, I suppose.
Yes.
Because, to be fair, as much as Stingray has irritated me in the past, that was most unpleasant, what Terry Silver was doing.
Yeah.
To poor Stingray.
That was when I figured Terry Silver is definitely still out of his mind. The way he just went off on Stingray.
Yes, that was like cocaine-fueled Terry Silver that we all know and hate. Was
pure evil Terry
like,
Silver.
I thought he was...
The build-up was there before that. That was the turning point. And those are when he starts strutting out at the damn tournament. And he's holding himself like this, and he's walking out like he's John Bloody Wayne. Get out, Terry Silver.
The fact that he was trying to like buy people with money and like, flashy new uniforms and trying to franchise, like, announcing the big, franchisement of Cobra Kai at the end of the tournament. And because like I think that's what he was trying to do that at the end of Karate Kid 3. He was gonna build all these Cobra Kais, but then they lost the tournament, and so that couldn't happen. So now he's actually making that happen. The fact that he paid off this referee. That he's paying Stingray to lie, that he tried to buy Robbie and Robbie's mom even, and offered her a job and gave her all this money and paying for him to go to the prom so that he could
we can't have all Valley Karate under 18s tournament corruption. That referee was on the take. It was
So now it's up to Tori to decide, is she going to be this, to go back to our Cobra Kai people, is she going to, go with that instinct to, just lie and win like that? Or is she going to,
I actually want someone to, Tori's little weapon thing.
The spiked bracelet.
The spiky thing. Just shove it in Terry Silver's eyes. I know that's a bit extreme, but just do that.
I thought you were going to say arse for a minute there.
No, that's too nice. In his eyes. In his eyes. Just
Do you want them to have a scene next season with Terry Silver reminiscent of what happens to Hawk later in this season?
Yes. Yes.
Or they just like
Yes.
pin him down and cut off his ponytail.
Cut off the stupid man's ponytail.
But I mean,
Put him
did
in
you
prison
see?
where he belongs.
Did you see how he just like owned Johnny? Like he's still a really good fighter. So like
I know he is.
that's what's scary too.
And he's very
And he
agile, like in
was-
real life as well. The actor posts videos of him
Yeah.
doing karate. And
Like
he's
he
very
beat the
agile.
shit out of Johnny, like without breaking a sweat.
Look, the fact is, Thomas Ian Griffith plays Terry Silver absolutely perfectly. As the most hateable character, one of the most truly hateable characters I have ever come across in my entire movie and TV watching life. I've never had, I've very few times have I had such deep, raw
Disdain.
despise of somebody that I've had the instant I saw Terry Silver in part 3 and still have it now. And he's where he should be at the end of this series, winning out of corruption and lies and being a maniacal, insane cretin, because that's what he is. So I have no problem with that. And story-wise, I really like that.
Did you see him turning on Kreese by the end? Was that
No.
something you kind of expected?
I thought
No.
they were building to something like that with him casually saying stuff like, basically, he doesn't say it outright, but it's basically saying to Kreese, "Stop using Vietnam against me, you manipulative fuck."
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, look, I knew Terry Silver was bad, obviously. Maybe I should have seen that coming. Maybe I am starting to somewhat like John Kreese, which I think probably...
Okay, well, Justin wants to know, what will it take for you to like Terry Silver?
If he brings
just
Mr.
can't
Miyagi
see
back
it.
from the dead.
I just can't see it happening, Justin. I really, really can't. I don't see how it's going to be possible. He's literally the big bad of the Karate Kid franchise. He is. It isn't Kreese. Because in part 3, he was even bigger than Kreese.
Yeah, like he sent Kreese on a little vacation while he took that time to just torture this young kid. Or
And
what?
he's
Over a karate tournament?
certainly, he's certainly the big bad of this show now.
By the end, yeah.
Because he's killed off. Well, not killed off, but I don't know. I'm sure Kreese, I'm sure Martin Cove is going to be back in season 5, but he's not going to be involved with the people. He's probably going to have a few, scenes, maybe swearing vengeance on Terry. I don't know what the future is going to look like. Terry Silver would have to perform necromancy. Speaking of necro things, Terry Silver's probably a necrophiliac. I think that was probably a bit too far.
You just hate him.
I actually,
It just seems like something he would do.
I'm gonna probably donate my body to science because it was rejected by necrophilia.
Brilliant. I love it. No, there's no way of me hating Terry Silver. Terry Silver, of me liking Terry Silver. But I like watching Terry Silver because the more I feel deep despisation for Terry Silver, the more I know that they're doing that character correctly. So does that make sense?
Yes.
If I am to hate Terry Silver more, I want that. I want the build up of
They're doing it right.
I cannot stand the man so much to just carry on and carry on and carry on until finally, hopefully, at some point, the character literally gets beaten to death. Preferably by Johnny and Daniel and Kreese. All in one little thing. And they just go, get out, Terry Silver. Punchy, punchy, punch, punch. Death.
Tear off the ponytail.
Tear off the ponytail. Yeah. Throw it in the fire.
Fire! Oh my gosh.
I'm tempted to grow a ponytail again just to annoy you. Push him off a building. This is not Die Hard.
Okay.
Look,
we know what you're going to be talking about in your predictions for next season.
He's the Karate Kid version of the Emperor, isn't he? Really, from Star Wars. So push him down the chute thing. Have Kreese do that. Have Kreese pick him up like Darth Vader does.
No.
Throw him down the thing. And he just goes, ah! And he's and the one thing we see him floating through space is a whiff of grey ponytail. Go away, Terry Silver. I really enjoyed that he was back because it gave me so much emotional investment. I hate Terry Silver.
I think we got that.
All right, so everybody watching right now, if you can have the money to do it, if this video gets 5 likes, Morgan will admit on camera that he loves Terry Silver, and in fact make a whole video dedicated to it, whilst dressed as Terry Silver.
You're gonna grow out your hair into a ponytail.
No, I'm not gonna go that far. Terry would just grow back from the ponytail. Well, yeah, I mean, that's what happened to the Emperor, wasn't it? I don't know how that worked. How did that work? We're not talking about stuff.
You would look good with a ponytail, I think.
Shut up.
Karate Kid, The Rise of Terry Silver.
I love it.
Oh. Oh, for God's sake. He's just got such...
Even if they cut off his ponytail, Terry Silver's the right age that I don't think he'd be alive long enough to regrow it.
Well, I mean, it probably took him a minute to grow it like that, unless he was always wearing his hair like that.
I waited patiently for my hair to grow out to that length before. I don't think Terry Silver has that time.
I'm just at a loss. I'm at a loss with Terry Silver. I just can't. I just can't. I know we have other people and other important things we actually want to get on and talk about. So Morgan's hating time over.
All right.
I think. And let's move on to the Eagle Fang aggressively positive people, which I haven't written people on.
Okay.
So let me write people on it. So I'll shut up for a minute now and let you two talk about the Eagle Fang aggressively positive people.
I think they maybe felt a little more open to wanting to kind of combine things than Daniel was. Like, I think both of them were kind of not into each other's styles, but I feel like near kind of the end, Johnny was more open to that than Daniel was. So it really sucked seeing them kind of separate back into Eagle Fang. Because then it's like, isn't Eagle Fang just basically Cobra Kai? It's like the same. It's the same.
No, it's totally different. It's a different animal. It's a different thing on the animal. And actually, what does Kai even mean now that I'm thinking about it?
It's a good question. What does Cobra Kai even mean? No idea. No idea. But yeah, in Eagle Fang, we have... Who do we have in Eagle Fang? Not
Miguel.
many people. Obviously Miguel, but then virtually nobody else.
Nerdy
Really.
kid with glasses.
He's in there. The other the girl that they have to get from the debate club.
team. Yeah, I liked her.
She was amazing.
She was kind of great, yes.
And she's like, if this is what I can do in 6 weeks, like I'm gonna kick all these bitches ass next year. I'm like, yes.
The kind of student Johnny Lawrence would love. And I appreciate that.
Yes.
I did enjoy this season that we didn't have any annoyingly positive teachers.
Annoyingly positive teachers.
Like the one saying hugs, not hits in season 3. That
just
made
the
you
guidance
want to
counselor.
I remember that.
I did like the counselor though, or that teacher, like giving the tour of the junior high students, talking about, yeah, I'd show you this lab, but we can't go in there after the fight broke out and it's destroyed now. Like,
I feel like Eagle Fang's story is mainly just Johnny Miguel and Carmen. I suppose it is that kind.
Yeah, because no one else really has any kind of big moments.
They're a small dojo, Ginny.
Yes.
With one
there was a fun recruiting scene again with Johnny going around.
He's very good at it.
Will non-binary and gender fluid people be allowed? Yeah, plenty of fluids.
And then who was it? Moon or somebody was like, "Oh yeah, we're taking a rehearsal inside because some old creepy guy was harassing the girls."
It took me back to when Johnny got the call in season 2, and he was like, "Yeah, we accept boys and girls. Gender what? Is this a prank call?"
Yes, so him learning terms and things like that. But also, Moon's ex-girlfriend acting like she was going to join Eagle Fang just to go to Cobra Kai, so they got another girl on their side.
Yeah, and then like she's not like Cobra Kai evil.
She kind of is.
We haven't seen enough of her yet.
I mean, she was like bitchy enough. I mean, she was kind of like, kind of taunting Sam a little bit when she fought her.
The thing is, I don't mind that though, because it's Sam LaRusso. And she deserves a little bit of taunting and just somebody just annoying her slightly.
Well, I did appreciate that Sam was like not wanting just to learn one way, that she was kind of trying to also learn.
Here's
Eagle
some good advice from the chat. Stay hydrated.
I do feel the show is setting up. I think Sam is going to join Cobra Kai next season.
I don't see that. Statement. I see the way that she was open to Johnny's tutelage and that she liked learning both sides. I don't see her going to Cobra Kai. I see her, she's still, it wasn't like about her, any kind of angry tension towards her dad. It was more just like him not being open to letting her learn Johnny's style and their kind of back and forth. So now that I think they've come together, and that's kind of what she wanted all along, was to kind of learn more than just one way of doing something, I think she's going to be happy with that.
Well, she'll end up being there like Robbie. They'll end up being on the same page with each other in the sense that they practice their own brand of karate that is an amalgamation
of everything they've learned,
rather than just one defined style.
Yeah,
which is probably the best way to go anyway.
Yeah.
But what do we think then? What do we think about Miguel this season, because I think Miguel is becoming less and less central as a character as the years go on.
Well, I don't know. Like a lot of people are speculating, like they're kind of just easing him out, particularly for this next season, because he's got that Blue Beetle movie that he's doing.
I think that's exactly what's happening.
So I don't think it's like out of like the character's not doing what we need him to do. It's not like an Aisha thing where like, oh, we don't really need this character. I think it's more of just he's got something bigger happening, so we need to kind of write around that for now. And then he'll kind of be a more integral part. But yeah, there were definitely some interesting things happening with him now that he's dating Sam, bonding more with Daniel, and then kind of that breeding some jealousy from Johnny, which kind of built up the tension between Eagle Fang and Miyagi-Do more than it really could have been. But then him ultimately kind of going back to Johnny, and then that heartbreaking scene where, you know, Johnny says Robbie's name instead of his, and you know, we see him kind of well up.
He's drunk.
And we see Miguel really kind of be really hurt by that. So that definitely, and then by the end, him just deciding not to go back out there, and Johnny just kind of really not saying the right things to him, kind of really seeming like he's more focusing on the winning part of things rather than Miguel's well-being in that moment. So I really didn't, it seemed very kind of weird that was kind of where their relationship stood by the end of things.
Especially considering Johnny's relationship with his mother.
Yes.
And I have heard this as a potential rumor. Miguel's father could be Mike Barnes.
No, he's not coming back as well. No.
Well, Mike Barnes is definitely coming back.
Look, I understand why Terry Silver didn't go to prison. Terry Silver's too clever to go to prison, but that man should be in prison. He's just an idiot, and a violent idiot.
They did say Miguel's father was involved in stuff like that, so it's possible.
Oh my God, I will...
I don't believe that.
I mean, look, if they try and bring back any more stupid characters...
They're going to. They hinted at it all season.
In fact, when they said they were talking about Kenny's brother, I thought for sure, oh, is it going to be Jaden Smith?
Oh my God.
I'm grasping at straws for Jaden Smith to come into this show.
No.
No.
Nobody wants that.
But yeah, I think they definitely set up, you know, Miguel just being in a really kind of weird place in his relationship with Johnny and where he stands, and just kind of losing his way a little bit by the end of things. And even just like the weird dynamic with him and Sam at the prom. Like, obviously you guys like each other, so why are you so fixated on Tori and Robbie? Like, that was annoying me that they both just kept looking and staring. Like, you guys chose each other, you guys are happy together, so why are you still fixated on them? Like, don't let them ruin your night. And the fact they did, and that whole thing just made me mad.
Justin Hillary Swank would be a valid return.
Yes, I would love her to come in as Hawk's aunt or something like that, you know.
She helps him style his mohawk back.
He doesn't need the mohawk.
He's Eli now.
The mohawk does. Your physical appearance does not define you, Nolan. It is what is inside.
Yes, but I did actually like.
If you're nothing without this mohawk, then you shouldn't have it.
Oh my God! Okay, Tony Stark. But I did like seeing like the Miyagi-Do students actually train with Johnny, and how that whole kind of dynamic was working, and like his crazy training of them jumping across a building with it, like just some mattresses at the bottom.
Death will happen if you attempt that.
But Sam actually went for it and did it, and that was kind of what opened her up to kind of wanting to learn both sides. And I feel like, you know, as soon as Robbie was teaching them Miyagi-Do, I thought, okay, yeah, they're going to have a similar idea. If they know both sides, if they know offense and defense, it's going to be really great. And, you know, they'll teach each other's styles. And the fact that didn't really happen like that was just kind of a bummer for me. But I liked that Sam was really excited to learn both styles. And like at the end, when she kind of looks at her dad and she turns over her other shoulder and looks at Johnny, and like Johnny getting really excited for her when she is really using a lot of, Eagle Fang moves and stuff like that. That was really exciting. So, I mean, if anything happens, I think she would join Eagle Fang, not Cobra Kai, because she seemed really excited about kind of learning something new. But yeah, like other than that, I don't think Eagle Fang really had a lot of character stuff aside from the new girl coming in and just Miguel's all his stuff with Johnny, and then Sam wanting to learn Eagle Fang.
Do you reckon they just combine it at the end and it becomes Miyagi Fang?
I mean, by the end of it, they both seemed like they were on the page of like Daniel definitely said, I was in my own head about, honoring Mr. Miyagi, and I didn't think I could do that by opening up to other things and changing, his teachings. So Daniel is kind of honest and realized what he'd been doing and closing himself off to that. So, I mean, I definitely think now if they are going to come together, they've opened that door now more than they did, at the start of the season.
Yeah,
so.
it wasn't just like a spur of the moment, we need to do this. They've actually thought about it.
Yes, and there was it was hard. It was very difficult to do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They realize what they have to do now. And this next season isn't going to be like the start of this season was. Because you can't do that same thing again where it's just another fight between the two of them and, they're separated again. Oh, no. That's just numb. You've just had that entire story.
But now you do have Chosen coming in who knows like who knows Miyagi-Do in different ways that Daniel doesn't know. So
you do.
Is Daniel finally going to teach that arm numbing move to like the Miyagi-Do students?
I know.
Everybody's just going to end up honking each other on the damn nose. That's going to be what wins the next All Valley tournament. It's going to be.
Oh my gosh. Honk.
Honk on the nose. Barry Silver deserves to be honked on the nose. That's what I want to see happen.
Honked on the ponytail.
Honked on the ponytail. Oh, for God's sake. Yeah, I mean, I don't know how Chosen's going to factor in, really. Because I'm Johnny's going to have something to say about that.
Yes.
And it almost feels like, there's a character here that means we can have another season after season 5 to actually finish it all up because, we've found a conflict again.
Yes.
Like, just at this point, don't go on for too long. That's my big worry about Cobra Kai.
Well, before we move on to that, let's talk about our last group of misfits.
Yes, that is a very fair point. Last point I did want to make about something related to Eagle Fang aggressively positive people, though, is that Zolo Maraduena, is that how you pronounce his name, is by far the best younger actor on the show.
Yeah.
By far.
That's why he's Blue Beetle now.
We will finish our group conversations on people with the Miyagi-Do defensively masterclass people.
So definitely a huge thing seeing Hawk / Eli go with Miyagi-Do. He kind of, I think, has the biggest arc, one of the most distinct, kind of cleanest arcs of this season.
Almost in the whole show, actually, because he's not gone from this to that to this to that to this. He has gone from really weaselly kid to the most extreme nasty thing to somewhere in the middle. There's one route there. There's not bish.
But then he's even kind of dropped down again to really just being defeated, and he loses his mohawk and he gets kind of depressed, and he wants Moon back, and he quits. He even quits, and it takes Dimitri kind of giving him a pep talk and getting him back to wanting to be a part of it again. So he fully loses his spirit by the end, and then it takes Dimitri really talking him back into to going back, and then he chooses Miyagi-Do.
I appreciate that him and Dimitri are together in Miyagi-Do as well now. And I actually appreciate that Dimitri, as kind of annoying as he is as well as a person, actually is becoming semi-competent as a fighter.
Yeah, and he's got a hot girlfriend, and he's doing really good. So
that's something which we shouldn't be teaching the children, Janine. Is that if we learn karate and smack people up, we get stereotypically attractive
but the
teenage
karate was not even what got him the girlfriend. Like,
I don't even remember how they ended up together. I just find it a bit silly. It is a bit silly.
That the geek gets the girl, you think that's silly?
It's always been a bit silly.
I think it's
not
nice.
Just in this show.
I think it's nice. I think you just want stereotypically attractive people to be with other stereotypically attractive people. That is not very open.
Stereotypically attractive. I don't believe stereotypical I don't believe stereotypically attractive people exist. I think they're just fabricated.
They're a creation by Disney to brainwash.
Well, then it shouldn't matter who Dimitri ends up with.
I didn't say it mattered.
I didn't like
just am weirded out by Dimitri sometimes.
Did we enjoy, however, this all building up to Danny and Johnny's final rematch?
Oh. I mean, I thought that was really fun because I think people were kind of wanting to see that, and we got teased a little bit here and there with these kinds of fights, and to actually have an official kind of tournament style fight between the two of them, I thought it was really fun.
I was expecting Johnny to do the crane kick on him.
I mean, that would have. I kind of was very expecting that to happen.
And I think they thought most people would. That's probably why they didn't do it. But and I think it was a really good showcase of their skills as well. Because I mean, even when the show started up, I mean, I think a lot of people were kind of making fun of Daniel's boba kick, and we're like, but it really feels like, over the course of doing the show, he's really gotten back into it and has been training and stuff like that. And he's definitely kind of back to his old form, and they both look really great fighting. And so, yeah, that was definitely a really fun moment.
Yeah, it was. I liked it. But I mean, I do, as much as Daniel is incredibly kind of one-track minded, I always like him. Ralph Macchio is just kind of great.
Yeah.
He knows this character more than most people know most characters who they've played for 30 years.
Yeah, and
seems to.
Lots of great I love the montages of kind of their old fights as they're training for this fight to fight each other, and like just kind of the back and forth of all the moments, and you see the different sides of it. You see Daniel's kind of perspective, and you see Johnny's perspective, which kind of was the whole basis for the show. So definitely loved really kind of playing the old with the new, kind of going into these fights, and even just them teaching each other. That was a great moment. I loved the montage of them kind of teaching each other the other style. And, Johnny really just been like, this is stupid. Why are you making me paint? And then like Daniel really impressing him, and then him being actually open to it. And then the other way around, just like Johnny's insane training, throwing baseballs at him and climbing a chain rope, and like Daniel actually like getting into it. So yeah, definitely some fun moments with the two of them having to try to work together, being completely different. I think made for some really, really fun moments.
Whenever they cut back, dear Karen, you say it right in the chat there, the montage, whenever they do cut back to showing us scenes from the older or from the movies.
Yeah.
they're playing on what makes the show great, which is the nostalgic feeling for the people who may have grown up watching the Karate Kid. But even for people like me who didn't grow up watching the Karate Kid, who watched the Karate Kid for the first time, what was it, during the last year?
Yeah, it was last year.
Remember?
Mm-hmm.
I
I believe.
I don't even know what year it is now. But
I believe the pie flashback where he like puts blueberry pie on him, and then Daniel like smears it on Johnny's shirt. That was an unused scene. I think.
okay.
Yeah.
That's
like
gonna take
that.
ages to wash out.
It is. I don't envy the laundry person who's doing
Cherry
that.
pie and blueberry pie are the worst to wash out.
They do, however, those flashback montages, whatever they may be, give you a sense of nostalgia, even though it's not technically nostalgic for you, which is just pleasant. It's a nice warm feeling in the oh look, it's the Karate Kid. Oh yes, that's what we're watching.
Yeah,
Isn't it nice?
a lot of clips of Mr. Miyagi, like teaching him, like you have to learn your own way, like you don't have to learn my way.
Tree, like
yes. So like they definitely pepper in those scenes really well at perfect moments.
Oh, what was it? They called something bonsai as a nickname in the tournament, and I felt it was the stupidest thing I'd ever heard in my entire life. I think they called Sam like the bruising bonsai or some sort of ridiculous karate nickname like that, and I had to pause the show and laugh.
What?
I had to pause the show and
if anybody can remember that. But seriously, it was during the tournament at the end of this season, and I'm sure the announcer gave Sam a bonsai-related nickname, and I literally had to pause the show and just sit there in kind of ridiculous bafflement.
Did you enjoy Carrie Underwood coming to perform?
Carrie Underwood, what's that about? Carrie Underwood, get out with Terry Silver.
I think it's because she was a fan of the show, so they just put her in as a little cameo.
Get out with Terry Silver, Carrie Underwood. What? Everybody's so excited for Carrie Underwood being there.
Like, what is this, 2004? Like, I've not heard a Carrie Underwood record.
You couldn't have got somebody better. You know?
Oh, they tried, okay?
They couldn't have got somebody everybody likes.
It feels like something a local person who runs a karate tournament in California would get, and the people would be like, okay. That makes sense.
To Carrie Underwood, that was joke.
Because literally, like, her husband is a dental client of one of the guys who runs the frickin' tournament. So I feel like if that's where you're getting your connections...
Bonsai Badass, that was it. The Bonsai Badass. Get out with the Bonsai Badass. What a stupid nickname that is.
If you even cared a little bit about 80s nostalgia, you would have enjoyed a nickname like that, because that definitely harkens back to the cheesiness of what this show likes to throw in here.
So much.
Wow.
It sounds like
Justin knows just what you like.
Oh, it's Terry Silver. I have nothing against Carrie Underwood.
Well, sounds like you do.
No, that was a little bit of an exaggerated joke. I have nothing. I am entirely indifferent on Carrie Underwood, to be perfectly honest with you. I couldn't name a single Carrie Underwood song.
If it had been Kelly Clarkson, I would have been excited.
Oh yeah, Kelly Clarkson. Everybody likes Kelly Clarkson. Everybody likes Kelly Clarkson.
What a bunch of haters.
Tell you what I enjoyed most in the All Valley tournament, and this will tell you a lot about me: shirtless Robbie and shirtless Hawk.
What a surprise! I also felt that was
a good
one of the stupidest things I've seen in the whole show.
Yeah,
is that I was continually telling Robbie to fasten his gi back up because it was annoying me.
Well,
And then he
that's what
took-
I'm
and then he
talking
took it off.
about.
Oh,
Like,
let's show off. Oh, let's. Oh, look at stupid Robbie and his stupid, well-built body. Get out, you pretty boy.
so bitter, Morgan.
He is though, isn't he? He is though. I
Were
think
you
it's
bullied
because
by
he's
a kid
called-
named Robbie in school
I know.
who had a dad
No, I've got
named
nothing
And
Terry?
a Terry. And a sister named Carrie.
And he drove a silver car.
I must just hate everybody that's.
And they had a pet
got
stingray.
at the end of the name. You know, everybody with a Y at the end of
And
the
they
name.
had bonsai trees
just
all
like-
over the house.
On their garden.
Away.
They had a bonsai garden.
I've got nothing against.
And they were called the bonsai,
trees.
and they were called the bonsai badasses.
I have
'Cause
got
they had a
nothing against
bonsai tree shop.
bonsai trees. Absolutely nothing against bonsai trees. I just thought the bonsai badass didn't make sense as a nickname.
You hear how corny that stupid announcer is talking about, you know, the dodo with the
Yes.
coolest name in the valley. You know, that guy is a cornball. So, of course, he's going to make up some dumb thing like that.
Yes, and it didn't make me not like the show. I am just nitpicking for humor's sake.
Terrible. Terrible.
The
Hate
taking
everything.
of the taking off of the shirts was very much a show-offy kind of situation. I don't.
I
care
mean,
for
I think it helped build up the fight. Look,
did.
Marie was not into it.
Thank you, Marie. I was like, it's loose. You're going to trip up. You need to tie it properly. And then the referee who's on the take, I might add again, check his pocket for brown envelopes full of dollar bills
Yeah.
from Terry Silver. When Robbie takes his shirt off, he just shrugs his shoulders at Eli, who then takes his shirt off, and we get the hawk screech, which I always like.
Which was but I thought it built for a nice intensity of that fight.
Oh, sure it
California,
was.
it's hot.
But surely there's got to be some sort of outfit rule at the All Valley tournament that they can't just strip off. like-
Obviously, there was not.
Just as well the
Well,
show
there
isn't
should
about
be.
sumo wrestling then for you, Morgan.
Sumo wrestling's fine because that's what people wear during sumo wrestling. But in karate, I'm led to believe people wear those particular outfits. And you can't, this isn't, they seemed to be referencing Jean-Claude Van Damme in Bloodsport a few times during this season. And I feel that's what they were going for here. They just
Yeah.
wanted two shirtless men doing martial arts with each other, didn't they?
I think so.
And they
I
just-
think
they
they were
just
definitely
thought-
building that up.
It would have to be
Those two.
deeply aggravating. As much as I like Robbie as a character, as much as I enjoy Tanner Buchanan and his performance, ultimately, your name's Tanner, and that annoys me. So your face annoys me.
Oh my gosh, you just hate everything.
I don't mean that. I'm exaggerating for humor's sake.
Oh my gosh,
But
just for
he
you.
does look like
Schmodown, season 9, everybody.
the bonsai butter. Oh god. I like the nickname. It just took me aback at how absolutely stupid it was. Bonsai badass. Seriously. That tree over there, it's a badass tree. The bonsai badass.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's what her dad is known for. So, you know.
He's known for a bit more than bonsai. His
But I mean-
bonsai tree store failed miserably.
Which is what he said. They were like, because Miguel being worried about money for college. And he's like, well, you know, I had college money. My mom saved up. And then, you know, I used it to buy a ticket for Mr. Miyagi to go to, you know, to go to visit his father with him, and then I won it back, breaking some ice, and then I spent it on a bonsai tree store that failed. So yeah, he does talk about the failure of the bonsai tree store.
And there's somebody that we do need brought back in Cobra Kai who hasn't been.
Oh.
Where is Robin Lively?
The girl love interest, but not a love interest because she had a
Yes.
boyfriend that we never saw. So
Where's Robin Lively? Bring
like she
Robin
played all the
Lively
whole
back.
part of the love interest, but they just refused to make her an actual love interest and gave her like a boyfriend that we never saw.
That's
Just
because
felt
people
really
liked
dumb,
Elizabeth Shue too much.
I guess.
Bring Robin Lively back. Screw Mike Barnes and Nolan's silly theory that he heard before.
Okay, well, then let's get into the final phase of this conversation.
The final phase of the conversation. The future, in brackets, please don't overdo it. Can you tell I've written these?
Yes.
Yes, we're definitely getting Mike Barnes. They've already hinted several times with Amanda asking Daniel if there are any karate people in his past that are going to come back. And he says no. And he's like, wait, yeah, there might be.
But
And
why
then
is he not
as
in prison?
John Kreese is getting drug away, Terry Silver tells him there's other people who can come and help me run Cobra Kai. So
He's not Cobra Kai, though. He's a violent criminal.
we are getting Mike Barnes.
Wow.
Are we going to get Jackie Chan and Jaden Smith?
Why?
There's an interview they did asking them about that.
If they're playing right, if season 5 of Cobra Kai is going to play so heavily on part 3, bring back Robin Lively. For God's sake. That is the one way that's going to be nice to me. Mike Barnes.
I've just figured out the perfect scene
Mike
that will make
Barnes.
Morgan happy. So imagine Daniel teaches Johnny and Kreese that arm-numbing move. They use it on Terry Silva, and that's when they shave his ponytail.
Because his arms would be rendered useless.
If
And for
Mike
some reason,
Barnes
and
comes back, I'm over Terry
Stingray's
Silva.
there filming it for some reason.
Yes. So do you think he's going to be ridden with enough guilt that he will admit the truth? And Tori, do you think she's going to admit to the cheating or just
Tori
take her
is
prize?
definitely going to admit to it.
Yeah, I actually think Tori will, because that makes sense, I think, for the arc of the character.
Yeah.
And Stingray is definitely going to come out with it because he's a weaselly little whatever. I didn't want to be too harsh.
Oh no,
I'm
you
sorry.
don't want to be too harsh for once. This whole discussion.
If there's anyone to be harsh about, it's the guy who hangs around with minors.
Right. Carrie Underwood got more vitriol from you than Stingray.
Although Stingray's neighbor was a dick. Not gonna lie.
He was. He was. Far worse than Stingray. I don't care for that man. Who was that dude as well? Who did it?
He pops up in like little random roles and things.
He does, doesn't he?
Yeah.
What do I know him from, Janine? You'll know.
Maybe the Final Destination, the last Final Destination movie. I believe he's
so.
Yeah, I think
the dude who gets crushed by the Buddha head?
Buddha. Yeah, he's the acupuncture guy.
No, I don't think that's where I know him from.
That's like the most brutal death in that series for me.
I don't think that's where I know him from at all. I'll look it up. Don't worry. What do I think? Look, how do you know Mike Barnes is going to come back?
They literally hinted at it several times, talking about
anybody else.
Karate people coming back from your past. Terry saying that he has people who can help him. He was in quite a bit of those Terry Silver flashbacks. Even Daniel brought him up, having a whole conversation at the bar about him with Johnny. So Mike Barnes is coming back.
Isn't even the villain of part 3. Terry Silver is. They
He's
brought
back.
Terry Silver back. We don't need Terry Silver's violent lackey.
He's coming back.
Why can't we have why can't we? I mean, we already had Johnny's Cobra Kai people back, didn't we? I suppose in that one very nice episode from a couple of seasons ago, where the one dude had died.
He got in a
That was
body bag finally.
Yeah, that was good. I that was a very meaning. I liked that episode. I don't like Mike Barnes.
Well, he's
So I
coming
want
back.
Robin
And
Lively.
you didn't like Terry Silver, and he came back with a vengeance. So
No, but
Mike
there's
Barnes.
a difference there. There's a difference. I don't like Terry Silver because I'm supposed to not like Terry Silver because Terry Silver is actually an entertaining character to hate. Mike Barnes is just get out of my face. Who are you?
That sounds very similar to your feelings towards Terry Silver.
No, he's not. No, I know who Terry Silver. Terry Silver's confident.
But you also said the same thing about Terry Silver. Terry Silver, get out of my face.
Yes, Terry Silver, get out of my face, but in a fun way. Mike Barnes, get out of my face in a who are even you as a villain? You.
Well, he's good enough to come back and be the lackey to season 5. He's definitely coming back season 5.
I want all the people from Okinawa to come back with Chosen. All of them. Everyone.
And so how do you think Johnny's whole mission to get Miguel back is gonna go?
Not very well.
Terribly.
Yeah.
He'll probably get
Absolutely
lost
horrible.
along the way to Ecuador, if I'm honest.
And since she's very sloppy in her love life, do you think Sam is going to use this time that Miguel's away to then get back with Robbie
100%.
again?
100%. Because she's kind of
she's all over the place.
She's more all over the place. That I need a get out of my face shirt. We'll make one. We'll make a get out of my face shirt. It'll just be me going. It'll just be you know that gif of Cary Grant. There he is. There's Cary Grant.
Yes.
That where he just says get out from his girlfriend. You just put me in that. Just
Yes.
get out of my face. Terry Silver and Mike Barnes.
And Carrie Underwood.
Not Carrie Underwood. That was the joke. I'm still trying to find out who this dude was.
I looked at his filmography. I'm pretty sure it's probably Final Destination because nothing else.
Definitely not Final Destination. It's a comedy thing. 100% it's not Final Destination. I'll do it. You talk about the future of Cobra Kai because I'm just apparently gonna get nasty with people.
Bring back Jaden Smith and Jackie Chan. Just do it. Just for one scene. I want to see the Cobra Kai multiverse.
Because they're definitely not even characters related to, and they're not even doing karate in that movie. So
I just want them in like maybe one scene where he's like, "Oh, I know some karate," and then Johnny just says, "That's not karate," and then just leaves.
I don't see Morgan ever watching the movie Rampage. He's too highbrow to watch Rampage.
It might be the Wolf of Wall Street.
Okay.
I think. Anyway, thanks for helping.
I want also. I mean, Hilary Swank is definitely going to show up next.
She
season.
has to. I would love for her to come back and be like,
And
Hawk's
Robin
aunt
Lively.
or something. No, she was like nothing
Why?
character.
Why do
She
you
was so
hate
pointless.
Robin
I
Lively?
don't
now?
hate Robin. Teen Witch is one of the best movies ever. Top that. But she was kind of a nothing character, and the fact that they made her. But he was a villain, and this show thrives on the villains. So,
will Tori and Sam reach an understanding?
I think if Tori steps forward and admits to the cheating that happened and doesn't take that win because of it and all of that, Sam, I think, will come apologize to her and have so much more respect for her. And if Amanda continues to try to help Tori through her problems and take her kind of under her wing and support her through all this stuff she's going through, I definitely think there's an open door for some bonding between the two of them. So
not by buying her groceries, which
no.
Can you imagine just going to buy groceries for somebody you don't know?
Yeah.
Like, what if they have like an allergy to most of the stuff you bought?
Yeah. So I appreciated
Don't
like
like
you
Rice
know.
Krispies. This is the wrong bread.
Knowing how much
That'd
you
be
love bread,
horrible.
I can see how that would irritate you, Morgan.
Please never buy food for me that I don't agree to.
I'll get you some Frosties. How about that?
I don't.
I don't. You only eat Raisin Bran.
No, porridge. Anyway, we're not talking about Morgan's breakfast preferences.
I'm Scottish and I don't even like porridge in the morning.
Well, you're not a real Scottish person.
Are you a real bear? Are you one of Goldilocks and the Three Bears?
No, because I can never get.
Why am I being? Just because I'm the one.
Do you like it? Is it just
Barnes?
usually too hot or too
I know
cold
what this is.
until it's just right?
Janine,
Yes.
you like Mike Barnes as a character.
I
don't
do
you? This is
not
why
like
I'm
Mike
like-
Barnes. I do not like Mike Barnes, but I love the callbacks. I love them bringing back old characters, and it just makes sense. And it just, for what they had set up this season, for the little sprinklings of things, they showed so many flashback clips of Mike Barnes. They had a whole scene where they talked about who Mike Barnes was. I'm not saying that's something I want. I'm just saying that's obviously something they're setting up. So if we're talking about predictions, whether it's something I want or not, it's something that's going to happen because they literally set it up pretty decently this season. So,
well, I hope at least Mike Barnes has to be broken out of prison, as that's where he belongs.
yeah.
Because he's as crazy as Terry Silver, but totally stupid. Which is something Terry Silver isn't. Give Terry Silver that. He's very clever. He's a manipulative manipulator. Mike Barnes is just a thug.
Yes.
And I don't like thugs, Janine.
Well, we'll see how this plays out. I mean, if Tori does admit to the cheating, then it's fair game for Miyagi-Do to continue practicing, because that was the whole bet. And Johnny, even knowing that Cobra Kai won, Johnny is still planning on keeping Miyagi-Do going, because he's like, I'm not going to honor this bet from like dishonorable people. So
which I like.
I'm curious to see how the training goes with Chosen coming into Miyagi-Do, and all the new things, because obviously a huge part of Daniel's training was just not wanting to give up the things that he learned from Mr. Miyagi. But now that you're going to be bringing in elements of things that he didn't learn from Mr. Miyagi that were part of Miyagi's fighting set and style, is going to be interesting to see too. So
I want to see a fight between Chosen and John Kreese.
Yeah.
Terry Silver, you mean? No. Huh? John Kreese, I feel like, is now a sympathetic character.
Yeah, a little bit.
And I believe the only way is positive for John Kreese now.
I also see Sean, Kenny's brother, maybe getting out and joining Cobra Kai. So that'll be an interesting thing. But there was like a lot of talk about breaking the cycle. And so I think if all of a sudden
it's a Targaryen situation.
Well, I mean, so if this is going to be, if it's building to a final season, I think it's going to try to do something to break the cycle, because obviously, yes, Kenny, he is justified in how he feels towards Anthony and how he attacks Anthony, but it's not really breaking the cycle. It's just continuing the cycle of creating bullies getting out of control, hurting other people, and creating more bullies, and this whole kind of fucked up cycle of bullying that happens with these characters in this story.
I want it to be a scene where every character in the show just punches Anthony LaRusso.
That
at the same time.
So I'm sure they're going to give us an Anthony arc where, he is now bullied mercilessly by Kenny, and how he's going to deal with that, how the LaRussos deal with that. So that's going to be interesting to see how that all plays out with Anthony and Kenny and how that's going to work, and how Daniel's going to have to really ultimately deal with his son being a bully. I mean, they do learn that he's been bullying this kid. So they kind of give him like this quick, no electronics punishment that he's still,
They give him a quick naughty.
Yeah. So ultimately, I think it's a bigger thing they need to deal with. So I'm curious to see, if Anthony is going to turn us around. I don't know if that's going to happen, but we shall see, because he is the son of a protagonist character that we've all really cared about for a long time. So
I want him to be beat up so bad they have to recast him with another actor.
Okay. Well, I'm over here talking about, let's see if he can get us to turn around, and you're like, I just want to see him murdered. So
at this stage, Janine, has Cobra Kai?
I'm trying to be optimistic.
Beating people up is the right thing to do.
I'm trying to be optimistic. Okay.
But I just like that Dio Karen is somebody else from the chat who agrees with us that Anthony is the worst.
Okay. Yes. He's pretty terrible.
Because he is. Yes. I like that. I enjoyed the season. I did. The show kind of it knows what it does, and it's doing it solidly every time now. Although there was one deeply annoying story structure part of this season to me. And it was at the end of episode 9, where Miguel does his back in, but he's just a pulled muscle at the start of episode 10. I hate that writing. I hate it. Don't try and pretend he's broke his back again. I hate that. You're taking manipulation of story too far there. I really didn't like that. Yeah,
it was a little bit
objectively, I didn't like that.
It's like either don't do that and give him a different reason for not coming back to fight, or making it so he did really hurt his back again, and it's a whole kind of thing where he has to fight back again or something. But yeah. Yes, Ralph Macchio's daughter was the therapist who was helping them counsel through their issues with Anthony.
But Ralph Macchio's real daughter?
Yes.
Not Sam taking up another job.
No. That was his real life daughter, the one who was like, giving them a therapy session about all their issues with Anthony. What are you doing over there, Morgan? Hello. Did we lose Morgan?
I think he might have just out Terry Silvered his whole setup, and now he can't hear us.
He's looking up styling tips on how to grow and style a ponytail.
He's just seen my.
He just doesn't want us to know that that's what he's looking up.
He's just seen my nickname and has gone so angry.
You froze him with your new name. And Morgan is frozen. He's stewing in his Terry Silver hate. He does look like he's stewing a little bit in that freeze frame. We talked about freeze frames, nostalgic freeze frames. Well, thank you, Morgan, for closing out this discussion.
Everyone in the chat, what do we think Morgan is thinking right now? Oh, never mind. His nose just went. Oh. Oh no. I've never been in this situation before.
Yes, that was a really fun moment where she was kind of just calling them out on their parenting, because obviously they are very distracted, and was kind of trying to get at them with, oh, is Sam your favorite child? And because you could kind of think that, considering how we really just didn't even see Anthony for a whole season.
Yeah. There he is.
Hello. He is. Hello, sir.
Sorry, my earbuds have died on me, so we might have to close this out fairly soon.
Okay.
We were just trying to figure out what you were doing in that image. We thought you were looking up pony hairstyling tips. stewing in your hatred of Terry Silver so much it destroyed your earbuds.
Or
No, everything just died, and unfortunately, I have the sound coming out of this.
Nolan's
now, so.
new screen name just filled you with so much rage that you just froze.
No, everything just died on me. Apologies.
We came up with some more interesting speculations as to why you were frozen, so it's fine. It's fine.
Well, I will believe that. I will believe that. What I'm thrown off now, Janine. So
no, we will. When you left, we were just talking. Marie did mention the counseling session with Amanda and Daniel, and that girl who was playing the cousin's girlfriend. She actually is Ralph Macchio's real life daughter.
Oh,
just seen from Diocarin in the chat. Terry Silver tried to cancel his internet connection.
I don't know what just happened. I really don't. The connection and my earbuds went off at all the same time.
Well,
That's why it's a pair of these you're wanting.
No, because then it looks like I've got a big stupid thing on my head.
What are you trying to say?
My pink headphones are very punk. I'll have you know.
No, I don't know. No, I'm thrown off now. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Well, I think that's about where we're gonna close it out anyway. So,
apologies. I was just trying to get stuff back. Everything just went, so I was just trying to get stuff back.
No, I think we've said all we wanted to say. This was a really great season. I'm excited to see what happens. They set up some really good stuff, some really great character moments, some really bad character moments. So yeah, I'm really.
Are we excited to see the actor who plays Miguel as Blue Beetle?
Yes.
I don't know anything about Blue Beetle.
I don't know much about that character, but I like this actor, so
he's basically a teenage Tony Stark with like a mystical beetle suit that comes from a scarab.
Okay.
They're very cool comics.
Okay.
It's nice to see him doing something.
And he does also have a mentor in the comics who's like an older businessman guy, so I say get Billy Zabka in there.
Yeah, their chemistry together is really great. So
is that not a little too on the nose there?
It's perfect.
I'm sure he's probably doing this to be something a little bit different from just being known as Miguel from Cobra Kai.
Yeah.
Which is
I'll
fair
say
enough.
I legitimately want Billy Zabka to get an Emmy for this show, or at least a nomination, because he's been consistently great throughout the whole season.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And kind of everybody is. Nobody turns in a bad performance.
No. Especially Terry Silver.
Well, Terry Silver doesn't, does he? I mean, it's not. This is the difference between. This is the difference between Terry Silver and Mike Barnes. Terry Silver's a villain you like because he's played well. Mike Barnes is just some aggressive bully.
Well, we're going to see an aged Mike Barnes and see if that makes a difference.
He doesn't. Does he have any lines in Karate Kid 3 that aren't "Hey, Danny boy" or something like that? No, I don't think he does.
No, that's all he's gonna say. That's the only line he will say in Cobra Kai.
He's literally just there to be, a sneaky sidekick to Terry Silver.
I hope that is all he's there
and a callback.
I don't need no ridiculously sympathetic backstory to Mike Barnes.
Well, they don't give us a sympathetic backstory to Terry Silver either, really.
I know, but he at least gets some depth. There ain't no depth to Mike Barnes.
Fair enough.
I'm sorry.
Unless he's Miguel's father.
Which I actually think would probably make me want to stop watching the show. I will end by just saying I hope the show doesn't run for more than 6 seasons.
6 seasons will probably be I don't think this is going to be the last season, season 5.
No.
No, I think there's one after, and I think any more than one after, what are you gonna do? What on earth are you gonna do with some of these characters? Unless it turns into a soap opera where, oh, he's gone now, but somebody else is, and it just goes on and on and on, which it doesn't deserve that. It deserves to end leaving us wanting more, not to weasel out like a 45-year-old football player who is past, you know, as a footballer, retire when you're 34 and you've still got a good few years ahead of you, but you want to retire at the top.
I thought you liked Ronaldo.
Don't retire. Ronaldo's different. Ronaldo's
Oh
not
my
football.
gosh.
Ronaldo's some sort of god, man. Don't retire as a 45-year-old slow shadow of your former self, Cobra Kai. That's all I'm
Fair
saying.
enough.
Nothing to do with that. That was the nearest analogy I could possibly make to don't go out with a whimper.
Okay.
It's got nothing to do with age of individuals. There's nothing wrong with being 45 years old.
Uh-huh.
For God's sake, shut up, everyone.
It's coming for everybody.
45-year-olds, Carrie Underwood, Mike Barnes, Terry Silver, whoever
Justice for
styles
Carrie
Terry Silver's
Underwood.
hair.
They've already had a movie. I appreciate the 6 seasons in a movie joke. I do. But they've already had a movie. They've had several.
I just want to see Hilary Swank.
Hilary Swank, Robin Lively. That's all I'm after.
Okay, because she was such an integral part of that movie, but okay.
What else is she doing?
Being the
what else,
sister of
Robin
Blake.
Lively? What else is keeping Robin Lively busy, you know?
She's probably grooming her bonsai trees.
She's working with Carrie Underwood.
The producers have thought about spin-offs. Why?
Yeah.
Don't overdo it. Please don't overdo it. Please. It's too good for you to whimper
Bog it down
by overdoing it.
Yeah.
It really is. That's my main worry, really. It shouldn't be there, but I've known shows to do this in the past. To start off great, to be great in the middle, and then to end with a whimper.
You're still not over Game of Thrones, huh?
Never. Hold on to the books. Hold on to the books. But I don't want that for this show. I don't. That's all I'll say.
I think they know what they're doing, so hopefully they
I hope so.
Continue to give us what we want and
For 6 seasons.
Yeah.
I hope so. I hope so. Well, this has been a lovely long discussion. Cobra Kai Season 4. Good stuff. When is Season 5 even supposed to come out?
Probably at the end of this year.
Yeah, December this year now?
Well, they've already filmed it, so they did say it could possibly be here as soon as summer.
No, I think that would be a little
too
too soon.
Yeah, just let us build it up.
Yeah.
Let us miss it a little bit.
Let us sit with Terry Silver running the show before you actually show us running the show.
You just don't want to see Terry Silver anymore.
That is also true. I don't want to see Terry Silver. I'll be keeping my go away Terry side.
Okay.
There'll be go away Mike Barnes next season.
No, because I don't think that much about him. He's just a nothing creature. But then again, Terry Silver is a bit of a creature himself. Isn't he?
A griffin in human form.
I think he is. Anyway, are we going to call it there?
Yeah,
I guess we
believe so.
Well, This has been lovely. I think the next big stream discussion is actually going to be this next weekend, because there's a fancy masked killer movie coming out that everybody's very excited about.
But Jason's coming back.
Yes, for a 400th movie. It's Scream 5, or Scr 5, or just Scream.
It's just
because
Scream.
it's called Scream.
I
just
bet
Scream.
the opening titles, the S just turns into a 5.
Probs.
They actually said they had their reasons for naming it Scream, and they actually do call attention to that and kind of
Because they're making
Have-
fun of rebooted timelines.
have a self-referential kind of joke about it within the movie.
Of course they are. It's Scream. We're going
Yes.
to be delving into that new Scream movie on a big discussion like this on this channel next
Bring your
week.
Ghostface
It's a wonderful
masks.
podcast YouTube
Yeah.
channel.
Yes.
Subscribe and do your notification things. First one to know that that's coming out and when it is, even though I've just told you. Still, that would be very nice. Thank you very much. And I appreciate that. Do the likes, do all the good stuff like that. Anything else we want to say? Janine, you're nice. You're good at plugs and things like that.
Yeah, like this video. Follow the It's a Wonderful Podcast YouTube channel. We do fun discussions like this all the time. We also have a fun little Patreon. It's a Wonderful Podcast on patreon.com if you want to support us and all the crazy things we like to do. Check out the podcast feed. It's a Wonderful Podcast, where we do fun shows. I do Machine Mondays, where I talk all things Schmodown. I will have a new episode tomorrow where I'm talking about the Schmodown Award nominations, which I've gotten a few, so we'll discuss. And we have Morgan Hasn't Seen every Wednesday, where I force Morgan to watch things he hasn't seen. And right now we are talking competition movies, very in theme with Karate Kid and the competitive.
Kind of is.
Yes. So this week we're talking Troop Beverly Hills. Fun movie. And Friday, the main show, It's a Wonderful Podcast, where we give love to classic films. And we are doing a very wonderful discussion celebrating the life and career of Sidney Poitier.
Yes, something a little bit different on the main show this coming Friday, because it just felt right to do. So look out for that. Every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, the It's a Wonderful Podcast feed is there. That's where we call home mainly. That is where we are most of the time. Find out on Anchor, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, Google Podcasts, Castbox, Amazon Music, everywhere else podcasts can be found. On Twitter, we are at It's a Wonderful One. I am at the Purple Dawn with a 3 instead of the E and the, because, Janine,
3 is the magic number.
you are at where?
You can find me at Janine _ on Twitter, Janine Devine on Instagram. If you want to get any merch for any of our shows, you can find that at my TeePublic shop at j9design.teepublic.com. Or if you want to get any of my art in print form, you can find that at my Big Cartel shop, g9design.bigcartel.com.
And Nolan, your wonderful stuff is where?
At NolanDean27 on Twitter. Also, if you want to check out my comedy stuff, that's at the Glasgow Kid 1 on Twitter and the Glasgow Kid on YouTube. I just uploaded another one of my jokes from my previous set, which was all about climate change, a very positive topic to make jokes about, and the COP26 marathon. So if you want some jokes in there about Joe Biden, about Donald Trump, about Greta Thunberg, everything to do with climate change, go and check that out. One of which specifically I've noticed Joe Biden kind of looks a bit like Gollum if he wore the ring as a cock piercing. But I'm also going to be...
This is the kind of thing you get with Nolan's comedy, and I appreciate it.
Yeah, it's if you're in Edinburgh, I'm going to be performing at Monkey Barrel tomorrow, and I will also be performing at the Diversity Quota Comedy Club in Glasgow in April. They saw my stuff and invited me there to go and perform, do some really edgy, awesome queer comedy, which I will hopefully get to film and put up on my channel as well. Me and Morgan also did Nightmare Alley this previous week as part of the main show on It's a Wonderful Podcast, in line with the new Guillermo del Toro remake coming out. That was a very fun movie to delve into, and I still don't know what we're going to talk about next time we're on, but we'll figure it out at some point.
We certainly will. We certainly will. There we go. I do think there's only one thing left to do. It's probably to shout the word bye. But I feel like singing Glory of Love instead, so...
I do not know the lyrics to this song.
Just try and stop me. You're supposed to stop me now by shouting bye, so it's in line with the joke, and then you cut me off when I'm about
Cobra
to
Kai never dies.
That, so.
Bye. Bye.
Didn't let me